What is a brand strategist strategizing? Or what are planners planning? And would you also like to do what they do but don't know where to start your strat journey? Then I've got the perfect introductory session for you into the world of strategy and planning. Join us as we learn how to integrate culture, purpose, and the social media algorithm to gain insights into human nature and take your brand to the next level. We're going to get up close and personal as we bust some myths and learn from Kirti Sharad, AVP of Strategic Planning at Havas Group India, who lets you in on her hacks, resources, and cheat sheets that will grow your career exponentially.
Advertising today has become, in some sense, actually how do I call it? Actually, a reference point for so much of cultural shifts. So many of different things have happened. So it's begun to represent what the society at large is. It used to represent only what fantasies used to be, even like films for that matter. Today, films have become so much real. Similarly, advertising has traversed that path of representing history, representing sociology of our society, and so on. So the yesterday of planning started with 1968 when JWT, which is James Walter Thompson, that agency first had a research department, and Stephen King, who was the founder that time, he believed that the client deserved a better way of doing things rather than just on the gut feeling. I feel this ad will work. I feel this should have this. I feel it should have that. So to put in some science behind it, they made researchers into an account planning team. Now, what does account planning team do that time? They were doing only research in terms of consumer insights. Okay. So in the 80s, it introduced us to culture strategy for that matter. So Nike had Nike's first ad, even before Just Do It, was actually about the culture of running, about the culture of athleticism, or anybody could run. Anybody who has a good pair of shoes could run. It started from there. So researchers first, when they started becoming planners, they first looked at cultural insights. I'm going to play an example of it.
From day one, runners have taken their sport rather seriously. Once things got a little better organized, people started taking notes, analyzing how they ran and how they could run even faster. Today at Nike, we know even more. We developed one of the most sophisticated sport research labs in the world to let us see, in detail, the peculiarities of style, the dynamics of foot strike. And at Nike, we're putting that knowledge to work, making shoes that actually help athletes to run faster and safer. Why do we go to so much trouble? Well, it may be the 20th century and all that, but there are still people out there who run as if their life depended on it.
So you see about the culture of running, about where is it? There's an entire ecosystem around running that they've brought alive. So that's what researchers begin doing as planners. They first looked at cultural insights, culture mapping is what we used to call it. They did not stop only at benefit laddering. Did not just say that we have a great shoe to give you seamless running experience. It did not stop at that. It went to why does Nike do what it does? Because it's a culture of running around, to enable that, to encourage that culture of running. Then in 2000s was interesting, a time when purpose came into being, because consumers started asking for more from the brands. Consumers started saying, why are the brands doing what they're doing? Hence, planners started mapping social issues which the brand can serve meaningfully, which the brand can answer meaningfully. It can support a movement, support a cause, have a larger purpose to exist in the lives of the consumer beyond the product. So from research to insights to culture to purpose, that's been the journey of planners. And this is one of my favorite examples of Dove. And Dove, what very unfortunately today also is very relevant, that what they did with Real Beauty. Real Beauty was a creative articulation of it. The Purpose of Dove essentially is challenging beauty stereotypes in every culture across the world, across the globe. Unfortunately, if the beauty stereotypes stop existing, one day Dove will have to change its purpose. But unfortunately, those stereotypes still exist, which is why real beauty is still very relevant, a conversation. The purpose is still very relevant, a conversation. Just going to play this.
Very quiet, please. Cameras roll. And we're recording sound. Slated. Sounds great.
Dove has an entire project around it. It's called the Dove Self-Esteem Project. They have done immense amount of work to spread across real images of women so that younger girls feel represented in media, which has been a bigger problem. So anyhow, we'll come to that. But essentially, it is the purpose that is driving the brand in 2000s. Then came the era of today, or rather a few years ago, which was all about algorithms. Social media changed the game. Social media said that the power is now in the hands of the consumer. They will pause, they will leave within the first 3 seconds of you showing them whatever ad you're showing them. Or they could watch the whole thing. So when algorithms started coming into play and this was happening, you needed to understand, rather planners needed to understand how to use algorithms to create action. Or is there anything that into the human nature to make consumers act with the dynamic of social media, with the dynamism of digital? Is there a way to use digital data, whatever data that we get from digital, can we utilize it in a way that there is an action, a behavioral action? I'm going to give you 2 examples. The second one, I'll give you a trigger warning because it is about abuse. So in case somebody's sensitive around it, you can just shut for 2 minutes while the second film is on. I'll just play the first one first. The first one is fun.
Welcome to the honking capital of the world. Here, people honk even when the signal is red. Sawai hai na? Maybe they think that by honking, they can make the signal turn green faster. समझतच नाही. We, the Mumbai police, were itching to do something about this. One day, we connected decibel meters to a few signal poles around the city. If the decibel level went over 85 dB, the signal would reset and stay red for longer. Hata basa bomblet.
Out for a pleasant holiday. Come to Bombay, Bombay, meri hai. Bum 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 bum, Bombay meri hai. Bum 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 bum, Bombay meri
बजाओ बजाओ और जोर से बजाओ और रुको. free to honk. That is, if you don't mind waiting. कशी वाटली idea?
The punishing signal was, so I was partially a part of this, done by FCB interface a few years ago. And while we had the creative came up with a very interesting idea saying this we could do. And, Bombay Police essentially has a very quirky, even if you meet them in person, they have a very quirky way of talking to you. They're called Mama for a reason. They're very notorious when it comes to talking to you and trying to get money out of you or trying to let you go, and they'll do masti around it. So we felt that tonality was very interesting to put a behavioral action change to it. Such examples help you create a certain peak in the communication that you're doing. Even if you look at the Twitter handles, or even if you look at how Bombay Police communicates, even on Instagram for that matter, so many reels, so many memes that they come up with, and just the way they react to things also is very funny, very quirky, a sense of tonality is there. So we thought that would be interesting to take a behavioral-led change. What really happened was essentially this was done only for a few days at few signals, but every time the honking really went up, they brought it back in the year whenever they needed the help to put a certain punishing signal for certain signals where there is a lot of noise pollution. So you need to know when the intervention is good enough, for long enough. If you do this for a week, people in India is India, jugaad to hum sab kalte hain. Most Indians will essentially jump the signal and just leave. They'll break the signal for that matter. So you need to know, you need to be very careful. You need to collaborate with your client partners to understand what is the correct amount of time for the intervention. And clients are always happy to collaborate and come together and work and put minds behind an interesting idea. The second one is about abuse. If anybody has an issue, please switch off your camera for a while. Switch off, go away from it for 2 minutes and come back if there's a sensitivity around abuse. But again, what I wanted to notice, the example here is about using data. In the Bombay Police example, the data was decibels. Just one simple thing of decibels and how it could help us create an exciting, interesting conversation, which also led to behavioral change.
All revolutions have a starting point. Some of the biggest movements of our time have been sparked off by the tiniest actions on social media. To promote a movie about domestic violence in a country where it is so widespread and yet most cases go unreported. We wanted to foster a behavioral change in people to begin reporting these heinous crimes. Because if you don't report something wrong, how can it be fixed? Trailers are designed for the maximum number of people to love them. We actively wanted people to take ours down. Instead of shooting a regular trailer, we shot the world's first trailer that could also change behavior.
आगे के सीन्स का वेट कर रहे हो, पूरा ट्रेलर देखने का। आप शायद इस थप्पड़ से आगे बढ़ सकते हो, मैं नहीं।
We used the report feature that is so easily accessible on YouTube to make our point.
शुरुआत के लिए इस ट्रेलर को रिपोर्ट कीजिए और इसे बनाइए दुनिया का सबसे ज्यादा रिपोर्टेड ट्रेलर।
Positive sentiment started flooding in immediately. Our trailer became a huge talking point all over social media. It wasn't too long until news portals started covering it too. Helping our campaign reach over 15 million people organically. But the best part, with over 1 million views in just 26 hours, our trailer was reported over 400,000 times, leading it to be taken down by YouTube. With our habit-changing trailer, we are finally ready to start reporting domestic abuse.
उस एक थप्पड़ से ना मुझे वो सारी अनफेयर चीजें साफ साफ दिखने लग गई जिसको मैं अनदेखा करके मूव ऑन करती जा रही थी।
So they used the tool or the device of reporting a certain video on YouTube, very interestingly, for social calls. They also had a helpline to it. They also did a whole 360-degree around it, saying if you are facing any kind of abuse, reach out to this number, men, women, whoever is feeling it. And I think you guys must have seen the movie. The movie is about, notwithstanding even one bit of, even if this is just one thappad, with people think it just, you shouldn't even stand that. So they wanted to make that point very clear about it. So planners are introverts, true or false? It is false. Your personality type doesn't matter. You could be an introvert. I have had bosses who are introverts, biggest introverts, and they are amazing planners. I, on the other side, am an extrovert, totally social extrovert. Extreme for the matter. COVID made me realize that I'm somebody who is extremely extrovert, and I don't know how I survived that 1 year or 2 years of COVID just by myself in Gurgaon. But yeah, so it doesn't have to be a personality. As long as you are collaborative, as long as you're insightful, as long as you can read data, as long as you can understand insights, and we'll come to that part of it. It has nothing to do with your personality. So next one, planners take all the data and they go into their den and they come back with an insight. Definitely false, because there are, like, I can sit amid the crowd talking to my colleagues and chilling and having fun and still work on my work that I have. There are different people, different ways of working. There are some who need a den. There are some who need their isolation and to work on some. Sometimes even I need that isolation. But work habits are very different today. This was a reality much before, much earlier. Today, that's not the case. Also, today, a lot of the entire crux of the business is collaborative. So today, the idea, the insight, the big idea, a script idea, a plot, or character could come in literally from anybody and everybody, because our exposure has increased so much. Right? For example, somebody in coffee could actually tell me, listen, Kirti, ye insight ka, what do you think? And if you're busy sitting in your den and not listening to anybody, then you will not be receptive to it. Hence it is false. Keyword, collaborative. Okay, so planners do both brand and communication strategy. So brand strategy is, for example, understanding brand design, brand DNA, brand personality. जैसे हम सबकी एक personality होती है, right? And there are Mr. Carl Jung, in his time, who's a psychologist, came up with this 12 types of personality. जैसे Linda Goodman came up with sun signs. Similarly, Carl Jung came up with, he's a psychologist. He came up with 12 types of archetypes of personalities for brands. If you just Google for brand archetype, you will get the whole wheel that comes along with it. And so brand strategy is essentially understanding the brand as a person, evaluating, mapping the personality. What are the values, what are the beliefs, what are the personality that this brand will have? What is the tonality? Setting all of that in stone. That is brand strategy. That is the brand work that you will do. Communication strategy is literally a campaign strategy, essentially saying, this is the brand. One campaign of this brand could be the communication. So the insight for the campaign, the current problem, the current USP that you want to showcase, the relevance of it that you want to showcase with the consumer at that point of time. So brand strategy is slightly more forward thinking, set in stone for a longer period of time. Communication strategy could change from, let's say, right now we're doing functional communication, tomorrow we're doing thematic. Example is Surf Excel. Daag Achhe Hain. Daag Achhe Hain does both functional and thematic. Functional is where you get to know इसमें 4 चीजों की शक्ति है या 10 हाथों की शक्ति है, whereas that focuses on 10 हाथों की शक्ति and the whole formulation and how it moves and how it cleans stains. But in thematic, the entire conversation is about the value systems the child learns from his environment or her environment and puts the values into place. That's what Daag Achhe essentially is about. Globally, Dirt is Good is about, if my child, for a mother, if my child is learning a skill, that's a good thing. And then it's okay if he's getting dirty while painting and so on and so forth. In India, a skill is not so important. What is important is the sanskar. the values that I want to imbibe in my child. So if he's caring about his sister, I know that he will take care of me when I'm old. If he is learning something from his Dadaji, I know that my child has that value of respecting his elders, you know. So those things were more important. Anyhow, we're digressing. So that is communication strategy. This is brand strategy. Okay. So hence, this is true. Planners do both. Depends upon what is the ask of the brief, ask of the client. So planners can come from any field of study: anthropology, sociology, economics, psychology, marketing, research, media. They can actually come from anywhere. I'm myself an BA economics student. Then I did my MBA from MICA. And I studied brand management. I did not study advertising, but I'm landed here after 14 years. I'm very happy with what I do and enjoy doing what I'm doing. And I'm a sucker for psychology. I wish I could have taken up psychology, but I hadn't scored great marks in it. But I have worked with anthropologists. I have worked with sociologists. I have worked with, understand the consumer is the main part. Consumer insight is the main part. Brand is the main part. Category understanding is the main part. We'll come to that. Planning is a vertical, limited role field, whatever you want to call it, field. It is not. I have known planners who have gone and done media. I've seen planners go and do. One of my ex-bosses who was a CSO at Havas, he is now doing business role at Chail. So of course it's not definitely vertical. It's definitely not limited at all. I know people who moved from planning and become psychologists. I've known they've done PhDs in human psychology and so on and so forth. A very interesting field. As a planner, I have to be the consumer. I am a die-hard Dove loyalist. I'm sitting in a FGD, I'm sitting in a research where consumers are talking. Buyers of Dove and non-buyers of Dove exist. If I am biased in my head, I'll only listen to consumers of Dove. I will not listen to non-consumers who are complaining or who are saying Dove mein ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai. I'll be close towards them because I'm so die-hard a loyalist of Dove, right? I'll not pick up the insights which the brand may have to do to convince non-consumers to come to the brand. Hence, to avoid personal bias, I don't have to be the consumer. In my career, I have worked on Kama Sutra. I have given insights on Durex, but I'm not the consumer. I mean, I'm not even the user. Forget the consumer. I don't wear it, right? I have worked in ITC. I'm not a smoker. I don't understand even how to smoke for that matter. But you still have to understand the consumer. But to avoid personal bias, you don't need to be in the consumer's shoes. That is the bigger learning on this time.
If you're still here, that means you're interested and enjoying the video. So hit that like button for more such insightful content.
Okay, so very simply, I go to my work. I enjoy my work. I love my work. I look at news related to the categories I work on. Sometimes even categories I don't work on. Any ad agency business updates. If somebody has won any business, like McCann won Air India recently. Very interesting. I'm sure now I look forward to the work McCann is going to do on it. So even Leo Burnett, when they won Pepsi, we were happy and we wanted to see the kind of work they're going to do on the brands. And they came up with Tu Tera Kar with Samantha Prabhu, which is also very interesting. It reminded me of the yesteryear's nostalgia kind of campaigns which Pepsi was known for, whether it was Ye Dil Mange More or Ye Hai Right Choice Baby or Youngistan or Swag, the original Pepsi vibe. I catch up with my account management partners, check on status and current projects, what's the lineup like. Of course, work on cracking a brief, lot of reading. There's a lot of parallel reading I do, a lot of reading that I pick up on while working to crack a brief outside of the category, possible parallel linkages. So you do a lot of reading. Then lots of talking to consumers, not every day, but typical some research is happening. I enjoy talking to consumers and doing the gup shop and trying to get them to answer everything under the sun, because it's in the nuances is when you will pick up insights. If I just ask her कि आप कपड़े कैसे धोती हैं, she'll just say 1, 2, 3, 4. But there are nuances to that why is that shirt white? how much white is good enough, and why is it good enough? What does that white shirt connote of your husband's shirt of work? There is pride in it, there is joy in it, there is status symbol in it, and those things will come in only when you do the randomest of bakwas, because usi se wo comfortable ho jayenge, and then they will open up to you, and then they will speak anything and everything under the sun, and then you will have richer insights, nuances to it, that white shirt is not just a white shirt. Hence Rin can do the conversation Rin does about pride, about मैं छोटे घर से हूँ फिर भी मेरी शर्ट white है, like that चमकदारी है मेरी, so on and so forth. Analyzing data from competition to culture to consumer to brand, we'll talk about this in a while. Decoding the problem for the brand is very critical, very important. If you're not decoding the right problem for the brand, you will never have the right solution for the brand. It starts with getting the problem right, getting the question right. What are you trying to solve for? What are you trying to answer with the brief? What do you want to take to the client, essentially? And of course, working on presentations. I believe planners are the biggest rocket sings of the generation, because हमें sell करना पड़ता है सबको, right from my boss to my account management partners to my creative team internally, and इन सबको बेचने के बाद I have to sell it to the brand team and their bosses as well. So सबको ले जाके सबको बेचना है, आपको जो ideas है, insights है, आपको सब बेचना होता है. So you're the rocket sings of your job. Catching up with clients, I also do casual catch-ups with my clients, asking them what is working for them, what is not working for them, any upcoming presentations or conversations around that. Quick chat on bouncing off what are we working on, giving them insight into, like I said, collaborative effort, right? So keep them informed, keep them in the loop of what is happening, talk to them more often. Don't rely only on the account management team to do it. Looking for inspirational work around the world to inspire my creatives. I believe that only a creative will work harder when they're inspired. They will give you their best and more and some when they are inspired to create the kind of work. If the brief में ही मजा नहीं है ना, तो creative कुछ नहीं करेगा. Creative भी आपको वैसे ही चीजें देगा. So your brief has to be inspirational. You have to give them inspirational work saying, hey, this is the kind of work we should create together. What will spark the inspiration? And सबको ना कुछ inspire करता है. सबकी एक aspiration होती है. You need to understand that while working with them. Catch up with my creative partners, whether they are stuck on any brief, any insights, help they need, or just even discuss what is the latest OTT they are watching, so I know that I'm not missing out on anything that they are watching, which could be interesting. So that is how my day generally looks. Lots of talking, of course. I think that is going to start giving me a good jawline also eventually, because I talk a lot. Jokes apart, coming to the essentials of being a good planner. This is a very important section, guys. So if you have any questions, please stop me anywhere and ask, okay? First thing we said, decoding the problem, right? Framing the problem right. अगर आप problem नहीं समझ पा रहे हो सही तरीके से, या आप सही तरीके से frame नहीं कर पा रहे हो उसे, then you have not even reached half the war. You've not even won half the war. Framing it is important. So this example came in from we were working on the Whirlpool pitch. This is for Leo Burnett. And we studied on the left-hand side, the wheels that you see, left to orange wheels. This is the social media data, social listening data that comes from a tool called Brand Watch. Now, what it does is it feeds in the brand name, it feeds in the time period, it excludes a certain kind of words that you want to avoid, which are most obvious or which is not your category, or you include the words which are your category, and it throws a wheel at you saying, इस brand के लिए these are the dominant conversations happening, and छोटे-छोटे इस dominant part के छोटे-छोटे part ये हैं. This is the conversation or topic wheel. What kind of conversations this brand has been having over a set period of time. So Whirlpool was not really known for anything, just application and enter. Enter was essentially some contest that they were running, while LG was known for some kind of inverter, smart being their one of the products and so on and so forth in the category. And we did a qualitative research, essentially primary dipstick, wherein we go and talk to consumers and ask them what is their point of view. We note it down, put it into insight. and so on and so forth. So we realized that Gopul was losing on the tech creds. There was no tech creds that was happening. They had just launched a platform called Everyday Care, and it had become too emotional, and its technology creds or its technology was being lost in the world of higher emotions. They've done a whole very high on emotional kind of a campaign for the category. So the problem was that creds were being lost in the sea of higher on emotions. That was a starting point for us, and then we put the whole brief together to answer this question. Hence, framing the question is important. Then this was Indocent, wherein Indocent was launching an app for millennials. So we said every other day there is an app that has been launched for millennials, given how much financial woes they have. But that everybody is focusing on the transactional relationship between millennials and money. Either they're talking about convenience, itna save karo, iPhone lo, or they're talking about itna save karo or life goals, ki aap travel karo, itna ye karo, education loan pay karo and all of that, education loan loan. Nobody's going beyond the transactional relationship in the category. So that's what we said as a key challenge, or the problem that we defined as, that we need to go beyond how do you go beyond the transactional relationship of millennials and money? Something which is so important is money. And we had a very interesting insight around it. We'll go ahead. So got it. Framing the problem, getting it right is very essential. Yeah. Studying competition, again, very important, extremely important. You need to know who are you against. You need to know in detail who are you against. So this we did for Revlon last year when I was at Havas. There are two grids over here. One is extreme left uses hair color. Extreme left is get rid of my grays and what kind of brands are communicating that or catering to that. And then there is style and glamour and what kind of brands are catering. There's a very simplistic way of communicating that or mapping competition. Another way to map competition is on an XY grid. जो हमने स्कूल में भी पढ़ी होगी, X grid and Y grid. So X grid के दो sides होते हैं which are very opposite to each other. For example, covering gray color and flaunting hair color. These are extremely opposite of each other. Then the tonality or the tone and manner of a brand is very traditional, herbal, Ayurvedic, all of that conversation, or it is contemporary, which is more technology and latest technology, vibrant color, nourishing hair, if it is contemporary. So that's how you map it, all the 4 brands. And then notice which is the white space. Then we did this for Usha, another way of presenting or studying competition. Again, look at if there are 2 different SKUs that are happening in the category, top left is the way to do it, wherein we said that product truth at the expense of life truth. So product truth was highlighted that ye mixer kitna awesome hai, whereas ek side pe sirf life truth hi tha, thematic, and product was just the eye candy. That there's a whole emotional storytelling happening, but product is somewhere in the background, koi gift de raha hai, that's about it. So there were 2 very starking SKUs that were happening, contrasts that were happening. Then there's another way of doing this. We had access to YouGov data, which is a panel wherein there is an online panel where a lot of consumers answer questions, and you get access to it and you get all the data for it. So we even said that in terms of what are the parameters that a consumer who are 20 to 40 years old, SSCAB, they are looking for when they are buying domestic appliances or kitchen appliances. Of course, price was the highest, but next was brand, durability, and then you can make that point also that what all features or what all things are important in the functional communication as well. Then this is also interesting again, Mortine. I worked on the brand Mortine, and what we did was we were scanning competition. On the left-hand side bottom, you will see Goodnight. So Goodnight most iconic brands have a set memory structure that they've created. Okay, if I tell you about Harpic, he knocks the door. There is a conversation or there's a insight setting that happens. Then he says, but the second part is failure of her current usage, whatever she's using, whether it's detergent, phenyl, whatever she's using. Then cut to third is the third element of the story or third memory pillar is that he says, "Dekho Harpic kya kar dikhayega," and Harpic ka wow. And towards the end, you have a converted consumer. These 4 pillars. cut. That's the format. It's called the doorstep challenge. That's the format of the brand. You pick any ad in the last so many years, that's the format of the brand. And that is a memory structure. Some brands do it very purposefully. Some brands do it very, like Goodnight also has a memory structure, but none of us really right now would think of it. Goodnight first sets up the dengue conversation. Then it does the whole innovation through efficacy, how it will get rid of the mosquitoes, which are the source of dengue. Then there is the softer stance of a protective mother, caring mother, who's ensuring that that's why I'm doing, this is the reason why I'm ensuring I'm a good night mom. And then there is the safe for family or kids play, where even the kids can come and switch on, switch off the LV for that matter. Similarly, we did that for All Out also. Clear demo of efficacy followed by portrayal of mom as tough moms. And then there is the end of happy and together family, which is protected from mosquitoes. So these are different ways of analyzing competition, studying competition in detail, and then coming up with a convention, a code, something that is happening repeatedly. That also helps you to define the problem in the category. Unraveling culture, this is very interesting. Have you guys seen this? Have you guys seen Ariel? The films? Share the Load? Share the Load ko dekha hoga. So Share the Load, very interestingly, they started in 2014. The market share has grown for this brand. The market share has grown for this brand from, if I remember it right, from 4% to about 10, 11, 12% now over the years by doing Share the Load. So Share the Load is a thematic communication. Prior to this, and even now, they do the whole Sanjeev Kapoor films, which are the functional films. एक बड़ा गोला आएगा, white गोला आएगा, उसके ऊपर चाय फेंकी जाएगी, अचार फेंका जाएगा, सब कुछ फेंका जाएगा, and then that it's torn and it's put half into Surf Excel, half into Arial, and then they show that how Arial is cleaning it all. That is a demo version of it, demo way of doing it, which they've been doing forever. And 2014, they realized they need to take the conversation further. There is a gender inequality in terms of chores that happens in the house. Because laundry is a chore conversation, they very beautifully crafted this with Share the Load. They first said the women in the house, the mothers are first even saying, why is it a mother's job? Why is it a daughter's job? Then they moved to a father saying, I'm sorry, beta, मैंने तुम्हारी mom की help नहीं करी, मैं आप अब कर रहा हूँ, I hope you have your partner who helps you equally. Then they went on to a mother telling her daughter, her son, you clean your room and then you do the laundry yourself. It's not that hard. You can do it. It's time to teach your sons. Then they went on, now they're on a communication which is about, do you even see me as an equal? So when the guy used to be in his hostel or when he shared a house as a bachelor pad with his friend, तब आप दोनों सब half करते थे, आप चाय बनाते थे, वो कपड़े धोता था, right? Used to divide the work into it. Why not now? Am I not your equal? So that's what the story is now, but very beautifully crafted. And this is where culture comes in, right? You know this is happening in the culture. When COVID happened, when lockdown happened, this is the part which came alive so much, because then Share the Load was actually happening in homes. Post that is also gone back to what it used to be, which is sad. There's data to show that also. But it's a larger movement. It's not going to happen within 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 2 years. It is a bigger thing. That it's a perspective change. It's a behavioral change, mindset change. That's what cultural mapping helps you do. Mindset changes, behavioral changes. This is an international one. This I will show. I think you might have seen. This is Old Spice. So Old Spice is losing money and everything that they had created back in the day when Axe came into play. So when Axe was then shown as a chick magnet, which is very sadly put, to be honest, I don't like the sexism of it. But the way it was positioned, Old Spice comes in and does a very cheeky number and shows what a real man should be.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell it. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamond. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
Very cheeky number, very cheeky number. But international hai, it's a communication which is targeted more of women who are buying products for their husbands. She has an idea of how he should smell. Old Spice has always been an iconic smell, and so on and so forth. So they marry all of that. Next one, which I really love showing, this is Lego. Now, Lego changed who they're talking to when this campaign was happening. Again, a global campaign. And they're opening up new avenues. Lego was considered as a kids play only kind of a brand globally, but they needed to talk beyond that. Again, a culture thing where dads started sharing more time with kids around the pandemic, just before the pandemic as well. This is not a pandemic film, but what they realized was it's important to represent what's happening in the culture. And that's why culture mapping is important as planners.
We are a team bound by blood, Nan's knitwear, and our own imagination. A team that shares our resources and pools our talent, where we each bring something different to the table. We don't see eye to eye on everything, like bedtimes and Brussels sprouts. But when we're in the game, we're in the zone, because the things we build together live forever. We conceive the inconceivable, bridge the unbridgeable. And when we've built as far as we can fathom, I see a guy who will always do that extra brick. With me, let's build.
Very beautifully done, very interestingly. Just one insight of dad spending time with kids. And it's so beautifully done. Always gives me goosebumps whenever I showcase this one. Very important. Insight is your bread and butter. Insight is where you will know how really observant you are or not. I think all of us observe people around us in some way or the other. Planners get the luxury of putting that to work. And I enjoy doing it. I think insights is my favorite part. I enjoy cracking an insight, which is very interesting, which is different, which is true, which is relevant, which is universal. It gives me the joy, the satisfaction that I feel doing this job. What is an insight? It's basically a surprising truth. If I say something and if you say that, हाँ यार ये होता है, ये सही है, तो ये like it happens, but you don't think about it. For example, in IndusInd, we said people don't talk about money. We don't talk about salaries openly. Millennials especially, they go through financial woes, so much of financial woes. There's so much of data around it. But we don't discuss salaries. The maximum discussion that really happens is in maybe a wedding or a social gathering, and that annoying uncle will come and tell you, "Beta, FD kar lena." That is the conversation that happens. But nobody says how much of your salary should be savings. Nobody teaches you finance. Nobody teaches you personal finance. Nobody talks about salary management. Nobody teaches you that. That was an insight. And that's how we built, saying we are the app that we were launching. We said we are the doer app. You don't have to tell us. We have AI, ML, everything, technology in place. You just set your goals and everything. You split a bill with your friends. We will remind them to pay you. You don't have to do the awkward work. So we will be the doer app. So essentially, surprising truth. We all know about this, right? We don't talk about money, but it's surprising that this is sitting there and we don't even notice it. So it is interesting. How do you come to an insight? You be a nagging toddler and you ask 5 whys. The first why, whatever comes your way, first why, second why, third why, fourth why. So why do people play, or why do you play video games? Let's say people play game because they are fun, right? They're not work, they're fun. Why are they fun? Because they're not work. है ना? Simple है. इतना complicated नहीं है ये life. You know, I get to do a lot of stuff in that virtual world of mine, which I can. Right? So why are they not like work? What about games make them fun, which is not work? This is my third why. Because I have the power to do whatever I want. Games में ऐसा नहीं होता है ना कि एक framework है, आप वहां पे जाके CS काउंटर स्ट्राइक में मार नहीं सकते, आप जहाँ जाओ मारो, जिसको चाहिए मारो, नहीं मारना है मत मारो, बैठे रहो, मर जाओ, लाइफ खत्म करो, कुछ भी. Right? It's like it's a fantasy, right? So you see the connection that is happening to saying essentially games are fun because they're not work, but they actually just give me the power. That is where it's coming from. This is just an example. Now coming to the second hatyar that you have, which is the creative brief. More than hatyar, this is your armor. This is the most important document. This is where your entire ownership is at. What is the creative brief? You basically convert the client brief in whatever format it has come into a creative brief. Creative brief has 4 elements to it, very simple. So different agencies have different formats to it, but मोटी बात यही एक है. ये 4 ही चीजें होती है हर एक brief में. आपका target audience कौन है? What is their human problem? Okay. What is the human action? We spoke about behavioral action, behavioral change. Action, simple. What is the action you want them to do? And by what will you make them do it? How will you make them do it? Through a single-minded proposition, which is this insight we spoke of, that I feel powerful by playing games because I can do whatever I want. And the RTB. RTB is your reason to believe that whatever I'm saying, my single-minded proposition, let's say real beauty, my RTB is because I'm made up from natural ingredient like milk, which is 1/4 milk. Okay, these are 4 simple things. Target audience को जब define करते हैं, you don't define it as just demographic saying 20 to 25-year-old living in a metro, male, female, whatever. We don't do that. You try to pick a psychographic. I'll give you an example. I will first read out what I've written, then I will show you what the film was. So Lysol is a cleaner. Okay, this is a global comms. So modern moms who think Lysol is too harsh. Okay, get modern moms. I could have just said moms, but I said modern moms. Modern is the psychographic here. Anshu, are you talking to me or not talking to me? Okay. Who think Lysol is too harsh? 2, what is the human action? See Lysol as synonymous with protection and to see themselves as fierce protectors that they are. Okay? By doing what? What is my proposition? Showing that the strength of Lysol is as instinctive and everyday as the strength of a mother's protection. Clear? It's simple. Get who to buy. Very simple. Target audience, human problem, human action, single-minded proposition. Okay? Now we'll see the film so you know how it gets clear. This is not the film. This is also not the film. This is the get who to buy. And then this was then created from there. Okay, going on to the next example to make it more clear. This is a fun one. We'll do here ulta. हम पहले देखेंगे film, then हम करेंगे बातें.
Is that Cheetos popcorn?
I'm gonna need you to. Never mind.
Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
Who it is?
Can't touch this.
Get it off.
Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
I trust you.
Why?
Hammer time. New Cheetos popcorn. It's a Cheetos thing.
So Cheetos dust is a problem, right? Everybody knows that Cheetos dust is a problem. So what they essentially did was got young snackers who are pressured to make most of every minute. This is a very young snackers, the FOMO thinking, right? I will miss out on something if I don't do it. So they're pressured to make the most of every minute to eat Cheetos popcorn when they need a timeout. It's your excuse, it's your alibi to not do what you're needed to do, what you're expected to do. By showing that Cheetos dust is the perfect alibi for doing nothing else. So it's a very fun take on it. So I just love this campaign, which is why I've kept it. And this last one is a very interesting one. Again, we'll watch the film and then this one we'll do ulta again. So Barbie was facing a big problem. Barbie was seen as a crude example of sexism with very limited, very pageant-like looking Barbies, very stereotypical way of being identity of women and even men or Ken for that matter. So get modern parents of young girls who think Barbie is a crude example of sexism. This is a human problem we're talking about. To see Barbie as a doll that can fuel their daughter's ambitions. This is the human action we're talking about. The shift, the behavioral mindset shift you're talking about. By showing that Barbie and modern parents, both of these entities share the same ambitious vision for generation of young girls, jobs that women have not achieved yet. So there's still many firsts to be achieved in life. In this world, in this life that we are living, there are many firsts to be done, too many lasts to be done.
I would be an astronaut. I want to be a pediatrician because I want to help children who are sick. I think a woman can be president because they can be smart, they can be good to the whole world.
That's going to happen very soon. We'll have the first female everything.
The last generation of first, I think that really sums it up. My daughter, my 7-year-old powerhouse, and all of her friends are going to blow all of those things out of the water. I think the world's ready for it.
Lastly, you need to understand brand measurement methods. So there is a lot of these sources that you will have. One is, of course, business data, which will come from the client. There's retail panel sales data. There's sales data. Kitna product bika hai, bikta hai, every month, every week, every day. They track it. All brands track it. There's a gain-loss analysis data if they have access to it, wherein understanding which of the other competition brands are getting a share of the basket of household baskets that happen. There's a panel data for that. Off-takes data is again similar to sales data. Brand data, which is again what your client will have. There's something called brand track or brand health data. You know how we do our medical tests once a year and so on and so forth, right? Medical checkup. Brands also do that for themselves, for imagery checks, for KPI checks, key performance parameters check, and so on and so forth. Imagery tracker, you will have how is a brand looked at, perceived. That also you will understand from the brand track, brand health data. There is pre and post campaign measurement. There are link reports. But there's a company named of Nielsen which does link reports. There's narrative testing that can happen, wherein there's a person from the creative who is, or somebody who's recorded a narration is happening of a storyboard, and consumers are listening to it. And then they will tell you what is a key message, what did they understand, what is so good about this ad, what did it not like, what worked, what didn't work, will they buy the product, all of that. Similarly, there are qualitative districts where we spoke of. Tools for category understanding. There are a lot of tools, a lot of different agencies have different accesses. Euromonitor is for your category understanding, country data, so on and so forth. Brand panels is again for something wherein you can understand what is happening with the brand at a macro level to understand that. There are tools for consumer understanding. There's Global Web Index, which you need access to. Again, it's an online survey. TGI, Target Group Index, that's also an index, which is again a tool that you will need. YouGov panel, social listening, we spoke about all of this. So this is essentially what essentials of being a good planner are. Lastly, being curious and collaborative. I'm just going to show you this one film. It's very long, but it's Apple, and it's an amazing way of showing what collaboration really means. So enjoy it. It's very long. So enjoy it. I'm going to play it, and then we'll finish the class. Yeah?
Brian, what did you just say?
I got donuts.
No. Two minutes till we have to go back down.
I hate being back at the office.
I hate having 30 minutes for lunch.
I hate it.
Vivian.
Yep.
No, Vivian. Oh!
If you're not back at your desk in 10 minutes, you're fired.
Do you guys ever dream about quitting?
God, I wish we could quit.
Why can't we?
We could do our own thing.
Yeah, like start our own company.
Be our own bosses.
We could get our weekends back.
I could wear sweatpants every day. Bridget.
Bridget!
Let's quit.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what? We're starting our own packaging company. Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
All we need is an idea. Just one amazing idea.
I got donuts. Oh, God, I hate how they always double bag everything.
Brian, what did you just say?
I got donuts.
No, about the bag.
The double bag.
Oh my God, Brian, you're a genius.
Thanks, I just got a selection.
No,
Brian,
the bag.
Oh.
I still don't get it.
Did you know that 87% of stores double bag?
One reinforced bag could be as strong as two regular ones.
And better for the environment.
And better for the budget.
Yes!
It's just like...
Better.
This is so exciting, guys! Let's meet tomorrow.
Yeah, but where? We don't have an office, remember?
Welcome to corporate headquarters. Sorry about the smell.
It's perfect. Okay, devices, storage. What else? Oh, can we get Slack?
And Excel.
Done.
Dave, what's the Wi-Fi password?
It's Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, but what is it?
Wi-Fi password.
Are you telling me you set your Wi-Fi password to Wi-Fi password?
It's easy to remember.
I just shared it with you.
Thanks.
Okay, what else? Marie, website.
We need a web developer.
A cheap web developer.
I could ask my cousin Kevin.
Yeah, I can do it. 10 G's.
Kevin, you're 14.
Then I want senior partner.
Prototype? Right here. Excuse me, sir. We only need 2 minutes.
Sorry, guys. It's a no. Thanks, but it's not for us. Sorry, guys.
Maybe next year.
I'm not sure.
Look, it's stronger.
And greener.
It'll save you a ton of money.
Okay, we'll take 50,000.
I got an idea. Let's get the car washed. Yeah. How many bags was it again?
50,000.
It's like $900. We're gonna have to sell 1 billion bags to make any money.
I'm never moving out of my mom's place, am I?
That's it. I'm calling Vivian. Maybe if we beg for our jobs back.
No, guys, no! Do we need to sell 1 billion bags? That's what we're gonna do. Do you know what I see when I look around this table? I see the greatest packaging team in the history of ever. Look, I believe in us. Okay, we did this to build better lives. We did it to make better bags. To sell better bags.
Do you guys need a bag for that?
We can make our own! Hey Siri, send a message to Dave. Dave, can you share the chart?
If you want to look up here, we'll take 50,000.
Kevin, where's the website?
Chill, I'm working on it.
Brendan, I'm gonna have to call you back.
Here it is, but websites are so old school. Check this.
Whoa.
Whoa, Kevin!
Fire.
Kevin, I may have underestimated you.
We love it.
Seriously?
Right. We'll take 100,000.
500,000 bags?
Sorry, I'll be fine.
Overdue? Sure, I'll put you right through.
Guys, we need a finance manager.
So tell us, what are your greatest strengths?
My sense of humor.
Obviously great with numbers, but I'm really a people person, and so I have a very nurturing personality. It's because at the end of the day, I really... Jerry! Oh, sorry, what was I saying?
Mike, from finance.
I knew you'd come crawling back.
You called us.
Let's cut to the chase. You need me more than I need you.
No!
I have an MBA and a CMA.
That's amazing.
But I do live in Alaska.
No problem. Welcome to Better Back.
We're gonna need a proper office.
2 coffee.
Go to sales D17 and enter 500,000.
Man, it's my mom's birthday.
We'll put Mama sold 5 million bags.
We sold how many? Wait, I'm not big, am I?
OMG, you're never gonna believe who wants to interview us.
Oprah?
No.
The IRS?
No. Packagers Weekly.
Oh.
3, 2, 1.
But believe me, it will all work.
Vivian?
Oh.
Hi, it's Vivian.
Vivian, hi.
I'll keep this short as I'm sure you have plenty of work to do. This Better Bag company of yours, I want to buy it. And you.
How much?
Executive parking spaces?
Our own floor?
Our own department?
Come in tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. We'll make things official.
Rupert? Mommy did it.
Mom!
We're back.
So, based on the numbers alone, you'd be foolish not to accept this offer. Sign these, and we can get back to work.
Thanks, Vivian. This is everything we ever wanted. But you see, we did this for us. So while I know you can barely remember our names, hopefully you can remember this. You can keep your ridiculous deadlines. You can keep your 80-hour work weeks. And you can keep these stupid chiropractic office chairs. Because you will never take our money. And you will never take our money.
Frida.
Let's quit.
Turn down for what?
You just quit.
We're starting a road packaging company!
Yeah, guys. That is majorly it. Answer this. What is the one thing that the planner is responsible for? One thing. I call it clarity. You have to bring clarity to the table. You know, whether it's based on data, whether it's based on the work that you've done, whether it's competition, culture, consumer, products of the company, whatever it is. So my team, I'm not kidding you, my creative team calls me up to ask anything about the brand, anything about the product. I'm the go-to person. I bring the clarity for them. You bring the clarity for your team. That is your one big goal. So if anything you're putting up in a presentation, 5 slides, 30 slides, if it lacks clarity, you will not land anywhere. If it's clear, it'll be simple. If it's clear, it'll be linear. If it's clear, it'll be inspiring, you know? So yeah, that's all I had from me. Clarity. That's all. Have clarity, everything else will happen.
If you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe to upGrad and share it with your friends and colleagues. Don't forget to check out our exclusive courses and sessions aimed at fostering a niche community of industry-ready professionals. Head over to the description to know more.